Now, I've been following your social media the past couple days. Did Apple make things right with you?
Yes, finally.
You put up another interesting tweet besides the Apple stuff that you talked about being a history major and that your puppy is named after JFK and all that. So there's so many interesting things about you that I don't think everybody knows yet. What made you decide
Yeah.
to kind of reveal these new parts of your personality?
So the history degree and going back to school is something that I've thought about doing for quite a while. And just because we've had so much downtime and no one's really traveling all that much, I thought now would be the best time to do it. Um, but I just think, again, those are things people don't really know about me. And I think that, at least for my fan base, and maybe that's true for all women's wrestling fan base, like they like to know these things about you. They like to be engaged with like things that are like fun facts and stuff like that. So I really just wanted to like reveal some other stuff about me to take the attention off of, wrestling or what's going on in the world and kind of just bring it back to like, these are things that you might not know and let's, talk about those things instead.
And people who subscribe to your Patreon, do they also get that access to that side of you as well?
Yeah, so with my Patreon, it's fun because we get to do like, they get to see more pictures of my puppies and they get to see pictures of my family. And it is more of a personal platform to interact and see not just the wrestling side of me, but of who I am in my everyday life.
Well, bring it back to the wrestling side of things. You made a huge debut in Impact, kind of unexpected to say the least. Immediately, somebody that everyone was talking about. How long was it from knowing you were going to Impact to actually debuting?
Yeah, I think maybe it was like literally 2 weeks. Just from the point of starting discussions and kind of breaking everything down and agreeing on terms and things like that before we were in Nashville taping. So, yeah, maybe it was like less than 2 weeks.
Is it tough for you to kind of keep that secret, that style of secrecy with knowing where you're going and you can't tell people about it?
I told the people closest to me because I was excited, and my family knew. But I was more excited knowing, kind of the direction we were going with me and kind of how it would pan out to get to the tapings and to film and actually like get this content down, and then to see the fans' reactions. So I think keeping it a secret was to our benefit. Having it filmed in advance and people kind of not spoiling it made it that much more exciting and that much more impactful, if you will.
Good pun right there. And the Fujiwara armbar, that's a big deal right there. That's not something that you see people doing with such precision. Is that a move that you've always been doing?
Yeah, I've been using the Fujiwara armbar, gosh, for probably since 2016, honestly, as long as I can remember. That was my finishing submission. So it's kind of just stuck with me. I call myself the Fujiwara armbar specialist, and it's how I plan to beat Jordan Grace.
This week, you were featured as always. What's the vibe like down there in Nashville? I ask that because no news leaks, which is a great thing and it shows the strength of Impact. But word is that everyone kind of loves working at Impact and enthusiasm's at an all-time high.
Yeah, obviously, the last set of tapings was my first kind of introduction to that, but that's exactly how I feel. It's such a positive environment. Everyone wants to be working for everyone else. Everyone wants everyone else to succeed. So coming into that environment and just kind of feeling like myself and not on eggshells and like, the girls were happy that I was there and happy with what I could add to the already stacked division, made me really happy and made me just like want to keep coming back and wanting to work harder and harder.
Now, you're a New Jersey native, and Impact has been taping in Nashville. People from New Jersey tend to do bachelorette parties in Nashville. Have you spent a lot of time in Nashville before signing with Impact?
I had only been to Nashville maybe one other time. I had wrestled there years ago. I had went down to OVW to train with Rip Rogers for a week, and I had some indie bookings throughout Kentucky and in Nashville. So that was the really only other time I had been there. I wasn't 21 yet, so I didn't get to experience Nashville some of the way people do and with the bachelor parties and stuff. But I love Nashville. It's such a great city. It's like a clean New York, if you want to say that. So I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to be going regularly. And, once we kind of get back to normalcy, I'm excited to spend some time there.
Are you still tied to New Jersey in a big way?
My family's there. My mom lives there. I have a nephew who lives there with his mom. So I love to go home. My trainer's there, and the school that I trained at is there. So I do like to go back and kind of get back to my roots. And obviously my best friends are there and stuff. But I'm very much a Floridian, probably forever now.
That's interesting to hear. I find that most people who make it in entertainment or sports, and I'm telling you that you made it, tend to leave New Jersey. They're proud of being from New Jersey and they love the pop culture references, but they kind of moved on. Is it the weather was the deterrent to getting you out of there?
Yes, 100%. I like the snow, but I don't like to be cold. And it is cold like 80% of the year. Being in Florida for 2 years now has thinned my blood. I can't deal with it anymore. So I think probably the most north I would go is probably North or South Carolina, and that's still relatively hot compared to New Jersey.
And going back to what we were talking about with the tweet before, where you talked about getting your history degree, most of the impact people I've spoken with seem to be aspiring actors or musicians beyond aspiring world champions. Is that the case for you, where you see yourself eventually acting and or doing music?
Yeah, I would love to figure out a way to get into acting or, modeling or something like that. I think just to have a safe backup plan, school has always been an option. And, before I was wrestling full time, I was a preschool teacher. I was going to school to try to finish my degree, but it just became a bit much. And the only thing that I could really give up without changing my life was school. And the plan was to always go back. So the other ventures like acting kind of are put on the back burner just because I want to finish my degree. And that is the most secure plan for the future. So I should be done in about a year and a half to 2 years, and then maybe we could think about something else.
Has anyone within your studies recognized you as being an impact person, or is it just a totally different world?
Yeah, I think it's a totally different world, especially, it's not communications, it's not, public relations, it's history. And, I'm learning about the American Revolution and the Civil War and things like that right now is where I'm at in my studies. So I just think there's a disconnect. But we do typically the first week of every semester give an introduction. And when I say I'm a wrestler, people kind of, are interested in it. But I don't think that they recognize, what that actually entails.
So going over everything that you're doing right now, so you're on Impact in a big way. You've got the Patreon, you've got the online studies. You keep up a social media presence that's pretty heavy. It's not too much, but it's pretty heavy on that end. It doesn't sound like there's a lot of downtime because you're also working out and staying in great shape. How do you get all this done? Are you a big to-do list person?
No, I think just because wrestling is my job, having a Patreon or having a crazy social media following and keeping that up is just kind of part of the job. And I've just made myself very aware of my phone is my business, my iPad is my business, my laptop is my business. How do I maximize tools to my benefit? And it's just become part of my routine as working out has implementing school, being on my phone is just part of my day. And I've just learned over the years of how to use that to maximize an income or to maximize a fan base and keep up my social media.
So was it that you had for lack of a better phrase, a come to Jesus moment where you realized you had to be really on the ball and organized, or were you always this way and this hardworking?
I think a bit of both. I think that, I spoke on earlier, having to give up school because wrestling and a full-time job became too much. I think just being realistic with what you're doing and how you're expending yourself has been really important to me. And, I'm going to be on my phone anyway. So, and texting my friends or doing whatever. So I might as well be using it to better my business. And once you kind of can get into that mind frame and that, realizing how to maximize that time or to maximize the potential that's there. I'm new to Patreon, but I've seen the other girls do it. I've kind of seen how they keep it up, how do they, make it realistic and not a consumption of their time. So it just becomes like natural, and once you get used to it, it's not tasking. It's just part of your day and part of your job, like anyone else's.
Well, two quick questions, and then you're free for me. And the first one is, when you're doing all that working out, what is the music that really gets you going or makes you motivated to be working out in the first place?
Oh, this is funny, but I'm a big country fan. So I just use Pandora, and my thumbprint hits that I play 90% of the time literally is like Blake Shelton and Billy Currington and Miranda Lambert and that. It's not, anything crazy. It's just kind of like calm, cool music that, just gets me in the right mind frame.
Sounds like it's a good deal then that you're taping in Nashville. Cool. So in closing, Deonna, any last words for the kids?
I guess the whole, we've talked so much about being in school. It's stay in school, have a backup plan. Wrestling has always been my dream job, but I can't wrestle forever. So, aspire to be whatever you want to be, but know that you can't do that forever and be realistic with your goals.
Claire, thank you so much for your time. Looking forward to eventually seeing you live in the New York area when things come back, but just keep up the great stuff you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Paltrocast.